So have you been on a team? Have you been on a really ineffective team? One that falls apart, one that is just disastrous, one that you're sitting there thinking, why are we even here? I think this will be a really important video for you to keep watching. I 100% believe that this is an important video. We work best as a team. We work best collaboratively as a team. We work best co-creating as a team. We work best problem solving as a team. You can fill in the blank as we keep going, but we often have been in the mix of really ineffective teams, and the next time we get a meeting invite, we just already shrug and say, why bother? And I don't want you all to be experiencing that. I don't want you to have your school year, your work year filled with you having to participate on ineffective, inefficient teams. So I'm starting a series. This is part 1, and I'm going to talk about 3 characteristics of very effective and efficient teams. So let's get going. Effective and efficient teams have a clearly defined mission and purpose. Why are they there? What are they going to achieve? What is their goal or their series of goals? What is their function? Are they a team? Or are they a committee that's pulled together as a work group that once it's done something will dissipate? Or is this a recurring team that will meet on a recurring cycle to be able to address and achieve these common goals? Is this team functioning at small little levels? Is this team bigger picture, bigger infrastructure? For example, if you're in the schools, is this team functioning on individual students? Is this team functioning instead on bigger system pieces? How do we look at and structurally part here? If you're in the business world, you can see how, is this looking at an individual product? Is this looking at the bigger equipment or functional piece to be able to get to those individual products? So the idea here is we know the reason and the function for the team. Number 2. Effective and efficient teams know their decision-making structure. That is, they have a process and procedure for how a team arrives at final decisions. Is it consensus voting? Is there one person who has a swing vote? Is it silent vote? Is there a power differential that kind of weighs one way or another? And that's a whole nother topic I want to get into at some point. But we know the decision-making structure. Do we do silent votes? Do we do 3 cycles? When do we say we can't come to a decision, and what happens next? Very much tied to this, the team also knows the zone, the boundaries of their decision-making power. A team can only be as effective and efficient if they can make decisions, or they know the next person. They have a team member who is the direct liaison with the person who does make the decisions. And it is clearly communicated from that team through that person to the other person who has the decision-making authority and power. It's much less effective if that person is not part of the team, but there are times when that is just the existing hierarchy and structure. Critical piece here, don't let that stop the decision making. Just know there is a clearly defined system already in place, not decided on just by the whims of a person, but that is already in place, written down, carefully monitored to make sure that it's effective and efficient of how information, data is shared with the person who does have the authority to make those decisions. And importantly, those decisions, conversations are shared back with the team, because if there was missing information, if somehow something wasn't quite right or clearly defined, the team needs to know why a decision was not followed through but by that person in power. then they need to know that, because that might also help them in the future. We never want a team to feel powerless. We want them to be able to be enabled, that this is why maybe this decision, we couldn't move forward with it and it was vetoed because of these pieces here that were not something that was privy to the knowledge of the team. And just a quick moment before we talk about the third characteristic of effective and efficient teams, if this is something that's been interesting, you're really wanting to be able to get into this more, please go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button so I know that this is content that's aligning with you. You want to learn a little bit more. Remember, this is just part one. Also, leave me thoughts and feedback. What do you think of as far as the characteristics of effective, efficient teams? What barriers have you hit? And we can maybe start thinking about how we can break down some of those challenges. Let's look now at number 3. Effective and efficient teams have a group composition that is driven by their mission and purpose. That is, the functions that they need to achieve for the team are then filtered out to say, what kind of experiences do we need? What kind of voices do we need at the table? We need vertical slices of our system. Do we need a horizontal slice of our system? Do we need people with a future experience that know the history? Do we need people that are just new to the organization because they might be bringing other content or fresh set of eyes? We want to make sure that we have all the voices we need at the table to be able to help make the right kind of choices and decisions based on, again, why it's so important for us to have that vision and mission already out there on the table. We also want to think about the number of team members. We don't want too many. 5 to 7 is typically the right size for a team. If we get too few, it just becomes coffee talk. Not really a lot of efficiency there. If it gets too many people, again, your efficiency goes down because it just becomes almost a party instead. I never think of team meetings as a mini party, but you do know what I mean. We also want to keep it to a smaller group that we have, again, the diversity we need, but we are also focusing on the diversity, equity, inclusion, but the other key piece of belonging. So we have to be able to hear all the voices, not just have the voices put on the table, but hear them and use them to be able to inform the right choices for the team. We also want to be continually evaluating, do we have the right voices and people and skill sets and experiences at the table throughout the existence of that team? Continuously go through that questioning process. And remember, we can have team members matriculating on and off as long as we already have a really clearly established way of work and a mission and purpose. Always go back to that. Or do we have the right people at the table to achieve the mission and purpose that we have for our team? Another critical piece of the team membership and composition is to think about, do we have champions? Do we have people that are truly well respected? Whether it's across your C-suite, whether it's across administration, whether it's across the body of their other workers, or if we're thinking about in a school system, across the other teachers or other staff. The idea, do we have someone that's well respected, that also has the energy that could be pushing forward and communicating the work that this team is doing? We also want to make sure we have a carefully selected, what we talk about an executive sponsor, someone, again, that link to that person that can make those key decisions. Typically, that champion turns out to be the right person there too. So that's 3 of the key pieces for effective and efficient teams. I have another 3 and another 3 and another 3 that are going to be forthcoming, and I'm looking forward to being able to share them with you. Go ahead and also leave some comments down below to let me know any other thoughts you have, any other ideas, and go ahead and subscribe, do all those things. And I'm looking forward to continuing on this teaming structure discussion.